All right, welcome back. I'm going to kind of make this one as the nights of this week go by, because I'm going to try to chip away and do a little bit each night. But today, being Monday, got a package in from Larson Lights today. So I ordered some lights for the A4T. I'm going to take off those rectangle ones they put on. I'm going to go to LEDs. So I ordered round lights that they sell that are very similar to the originals. I'm going to put LED inserts in them, I think, which will be nice and bright. So I got 4 of those, 2 for each side. And then on the back, where if you saw in my last video I was lifting the tank off and I had to get those lights out of the way, I'm going to put these LEDs on back there around, but that should give me plenty of light out the back. So tonight I'm gonna mess around with probably taking the old ones off of the cab, and then getting those out of the way. I tested my light switch the other day. I know my light switch is good, so, and then I'm gonna have to trace wires. But first thing I do is get the old ones off, then I can put these new ones together, put them on, and then run my wiring, hook everything up, and we should be good. Something else that I didn't take into account, and I'm just thinking through my faux pas here, is I drained the antifreeze and the hydraulic fluid, and then I pulled the tank. And then the inside of this looks like this, just a lot of crap. It'd be really nice to power wash all that off. So I'm contemplating dumping fluid back in it, and so I can start it and take it out and power wash this, because to fix the leaks on that, it's going to be a lot easier if that's not covered in gunk. Same thing over here. I think it'll be a lot easier to work on a lot of stuff back here if it's not covered in gunk. So I don't know. That's just thinking about that driving home today, because my brain doesn't stop thinking about this stuff. So we'll see what I decide to do, and I'm gonna get to work tonight because I don't have a whole lot of time, and I keep chipping away at this. All right, I might be a little bit out of breath, but got the old lights off. So, and then I realized I need some other washers and stuff to put the new ones in, so I stopped there and I decided I was going to clean this out a little bit. So if you notice, it's a little bit cleaner, not a lot. But I just crawled down in there and scraped out a lot of what was in those areas. And just let me tell you, like, to give you a perspective, there's not a lot of room in there. And I'm not a contortionist. And I've got yeah, my shoulders. Anyway, that was a pain. But I just did a bunch of scraping, getting the worst of it out. You can see how much is in the pan there and how much is on the floor around the pan. But I already had a pan that was full. I took one pan out there. You can see in a little bit of what I was doing. I scraped a lot of that out. In the back there, I thought that was oil, but it was water. Water was getting in there and it can't get out. So maybe by cleaning all that out, it'll let water out in the future. But, all right, I am gonna have to go inside and take some Advil, because I'm gonna be sore from contorting my body to get down in there. But a little bit better. And what I might do, and I was just thinking about this, I might have to, it's the wrong time of the year to go find one of those baby swimming pools. So I'm gonna have to find a friend that has one and convince them to give it to me, and I'll buy them a new one in the spring. But if I put a baby pool under there, and if I do some tarping, I could probably power wash all that right here in the barn and catch it in the baby pool. Thinking that might be an option too, but we'll see. But I definitely need to do some cleaning. I mean, it's gonna make it a lot easier to work on this if I can clean this out a little bit. Okay, until tomorrow night or whenever I get out here again, this is where we're at, and hopefully I'll be getting some lights in there. All right, well, that should be a huge indicator what I decided to come home from work tonight and try to do. Just put away the power washer. I don't know how well this worked, but we're gonna find out here in a few minutes. But I tented from the back of the cab with tarp along the back of the cab so I didn't blow grease all over the back of the cab. And then I raised up this and came in underneath with the power washer wand to keep all my overspray inside the tarp. And I do have a little bit of wetness on the floor, and I do have some crud up in this area. But what I put under here was a baby pool and an oil pan to catch a lot of it. Some of it's on this tarp. So I'm gonna turn off the camera. I'm gonna strip away some of this so we can see how it worked. I don't know how, we'll see. I might have just made a hell of a mess. But anyway, one thing I did do last night, I didn't film it, but I did put my Larson lights in. If you can see them without the glare from the lights up. So, got those in. I don't have them wired up yet, but they look pretty good in there rather than the ones that were in there. So, all right, I'm gonna do a little unveiling here, and then I'll show you how this worked. All right, first tarp off. I am not gonna complain because I got all the crap that was on top of the rear housing off. That looks a lot better than it did. That was just covered in stuff and it's got leaks in it, so now I can actually work on it. On this side, that was all covered in things. Basically everything was covered in crap. So although it's not perfectly clean, it's a lot easier to work on stuff with it looking like this than the way that it looked before. So I'm gonna shut this back off. I'm gonna try to get my stuff out of here and squeegee out a lot of this mess that did not fall on the tarp, but I'll see how, I think it was worth doing this inside the barn to get this cleaner so I can work on it. It's warm enough. We're in the 50s, supposed to be in the 60s next couple days, and get fans going. I can dry off. Only got a little bit on the back of the cab there, which is not bad. So this will make it much easier to work on this back part of the tractor. All right, I'm gonna clean up. I gotta show this since I was dragging it out here. Obviously, water's pretty dirty, but there's a lot of crud in the bottom there. So got a lot of stuff on. Well, I use a baby pool. It caught a lot of the water. So, all right, cleanup continues. All right, one last little clip. Got everything squeegeed, shot vac, or in the shot vac around the floor, got most of the water up. I got a fan going right now blowing, but I will say that after I shot vac this out and got a lot of the crap out, it was definitely worth the time and the effort and whatever to do this, because that's a lot cleaner than it was. Once it dries up, it'll be a lot easier to climb in there and service this stuff. So I'm not gonna complain. You see a little trail where I drug stuff out, but underneath it cleaned up pretty good with the shot vac. So, all right, so that's it for tonight. I'm gonna finish cleaning up outside and getting everything put away, and then we'll get back on this thing later this week. All right, a couple days have passed since I power washed this, and definitely I'm leaking from those seals where those plungers go in and out there. So I got to fix that. Everything else is looking pretty good in there so far. I do need to figure out if it's leaking. Might as well reach and find out. That's a good sign. It's not leaking from where that rear where the drive shaft goes into the rear end. Now I think everything that's on the floor now is hydraulic fluid. Here is from the cylinders on both sides. So although I drained my hydraulic fluid, it's still dripping like crazy out of those. And then last night I was out here doing a couple things, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna get that carpet out from between the gas tank and the metal plate below it. So this is the metal plate that it cradles it in there, and you can see the surface rust on there because they had the carpet in there holding it in. So bottom of the tank, I get it set up, I pull it off, and I see a puddle of something on the floor. I'm like, what the heck? Is that water from the carpet? Because that carpet was saturated. And I pull the carpet off, and right in this area I had a nice little pinhole shooting diesel out. Actually, I think you can see it right here. So I had to tip this thing up because there's not a lot of diesel in it. I had to tip it up, get the diesel that side to stop it. Talked to Oliver Phil about it, and he's like, well, needle scale it, be pretty rough with the bottom of it, expose all your holes now, and then we'll fix them. So that's going to be next. I'll do that at some point, maybe this weekend if I get a chance. Tomorrow, taking a little trip up to Camp Perry. It's in Port Clinton, Ohio. It's where the CMP is. I shoot military matches with M1 Garands, and a buddy and I are going up there, my buddy JD, and we're gonna look at some rifles. Might bring another nice one home. And when I get back from that, if we get back in time, I'll work on this tank. But while I have this amazing day going on here in Ohio, so we're at the 9th day of February, and although it's windy, and you're gonna probably hear the wind here in a minute, but bright sunshine, 63 degrees, and can't beat this. So with weather like this, I'm gonna walk over to neighbor John's, and I'm gonna start a couple of the tractors because they haven't been started in a while. And I just gotta put a shout out to Moline Dan. I put on a nice shirt that looks good out here in the sun. Just saying that this is much better than that shirt I had to wear back in November. But all that being said, I'm gonna walk next door and do some cold starts, but it's not really cold today. They're gonna be rather warm starts, but I think 302, the UB, and the Jetstar. Since I just took the 950 and the 955 over, I'm not sure they really need started, but I'm gonna start the other ones. All right, just got over here. Just brought the 950 over not too long ago while I'm working on the A4T. I've got my pans under it. Looks like John added a couple cups because this thing has got some leaks that I thought I had everything covered, but I guess I didn't. Got the same thing going on the 955. It's, yeah, it's got a few leaks. And of course I got diapers under everything else over here. But I'm gonna start with the UB, and we'll see if she starts up. Put the battery terminal on. Grandpa's old UB. Usually she does a pretty good job of starting up. Wow. Now that is what I call a good tractor. It would have started the first one if I had two hands and I was working the choke the way I should have, but started right up, purring like a kitten. Oil pressure's good. So, very nice. Well, while she's, we'll let her run a couple minutes and we'll try to not fall off here. And start the Jet and the 302 if they'll go. Turn on the gas on the 302 here. Boy, she purrs like a kitten, doesn't she? Oh, it's a nice tractor. So glad I have it. I need to put the correct headlights on it. I need to quit screwing around. I keep saying that, and I haven't done it. Sorry if I'm jostling you around while I'm climbing around these things. Alright. She better go quick or she isn't going to go because there wasn't a whole lot in the battery. Come on, baby. spinning pretty slow. Oh, come on. I think she's gonna go. I want to use two hands here to work some things. Two hands always help. She's a little flooded. I wondered. Let her run a minute. So I completely rebuilt this tractor before I restored it. So the motor doesn't have a whole lot of hours on it since I redid it. 1970 gas, so 69 Jet 3, and we'll give her a try. With the Moline sickle bar on the back. I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys on here so I can use two hands. Good sign. Wiggle the battery cables. Yep, I got nothing. So battery must be dead. Dang it. Alright, I'll have to put a tender on this before I come over here and run it again. It shouldn't be dead. I don't know. That's disappointing. Came from Thayer Gardner Implement in Milford Center. I have remade, I sell these, but I remake the dealer decals. And I made one for Thayer Gardner. That's where Grandpa always dealt with. That's where the UV came from. So I'm gonna shut the gas back off on this thing. And I'm gonna let these guys run a little bit. And then head back over, do some things tonight. We got some plans, and then maybe tomorrow I will work on that tank some. I guess in all that I failed to mention, if you don't know, this is Grandpa's 112. It's a great story how I got it back. You can see it in one of my other videos, but it's parked over here too. I had to move a lot of stuff over here. I'm really lucky to have a good neighbor like John let me park stuff over here while I'm working on things in the winter, because I just don't have enough barn space. I need to build another barn bad. All right, Saturday afternoon after a successful morning trip up to Camp Perry. Always good to bring home a new rifle. Anyway, I just started grinding on this, and I think I'm going to stop because what I need to do is drain all the diesel, because what I'm finding is as I grind, and it might be too bright, I'm grinding and poking more holes through. So there's the initial holes, and it looks like on both sides you can see some rash over here. So I think what I need to do, there's about 15 gallons of diesel in there. I should probably drain all that. There'll be a little left in there, so I can slosh it around and show where my holes are if I need to. But I think they're going to end up piecing in, I don't know, I'm going to take it to them and let them see, but this isn't looking good. Definitely where that carpet was, it was not a good option for them to put that in there. You can see on the edges there how there's a lot of stuff stuck to it. So I'll have to clean that whole thing up. I'll paint the inside of it. But I think I'm done with that. So that leaves the remainder of a couple hours here that I have left to do work. I'm probably going to start pulling off hydraulic hoses on this so Phil can start getting an idea what he needs to make for me. So I'm going to put on some rubber gloves because this is going to be messy, and get some paper to document what goes where and start doing this. All right, I got a little bit done. So the 4 hoses that go back to the rear remotes, I've got off, got them labeled, made a little diagram where everything goes, just so I know. These were not terrible to get off, except I could not get that coupler off on that end, no matter how hard I tried. So I just took it off on the other end. And then on the inside, they were all coupled up there, and I got that covered up just so stuff doesn't get in there, but took those apart. That's good. I just took off the top supply hose for that. It's draining into that pan down there. I have to take off this hose here. Both of those hoses work their way up, and then they attach to steel lines over there underneath the cab. So I'm gonna have to fish those out, which probably is not gonna be easy because these hoses are gonna be old and hard, and there's a bunch of clamps in there on them. So I'll get those off probably tomorrow. This hose I think was replaced at some time because it's a little bit long. It's got a big loop. It was almost on the drive shaft, so we'll probably shorten that one up, I don't know, 4 inches or so at least. And so I think that's about it. The other thing I did is I got these cables are free, that cable's free for the 3-point. The one that's stuck is this one, and I've got some penetrant going down in there, but that's what controls the draft control, or the setting the depth on the 3-point. So I got to get that one freed up, and then that will allow the 3-point to go down. Actually, I should be able to go up there and set everything now and go back there and stand on the 3-point and get it to go down, but I don't know that I want it to go down right now because it makes a pretty good ladder for getting up on the back of this. So I'm done rambling for tonight. That's what I've got accomplished. I'd like to get a pile of these hoses ready for Oliver Phil so he can start ordering stuff and getting those put together. And I'll be back out here tomorrow with whatever time that I have to try to get a little bit more of this done. All right, it's Sunday. I came out with the intention of not being out here very long because I had some other stuff to go do, but I did come in here. I just put this hose back on just to see. I think we can cut off, I think this must be a remake, but I think this hose should come in and just go straight here. I don't think we need that big loop. So we will measure to get that taken care of. Then I came down here and took off the lower hose, and it's dripping. And then I took off here, and on the other side was a bracket holding those 2 hydraulic lines. So they go through that middle piece. It's kind of a big cradle. I undid it, and then I came around to the other side. Here's this goes right in here to pin them there. They go up, and then they 90 into and go into there. You can see I got the wrench on the one, which I don't know how I'm going to get torque on that to break it free. I'm battling really sore shoulder right now, so if I do that, I think it's going to cause me mega pain. So might have to wait and have some help. But anyway, I got those 2 lines coming in here. Maybe you can see it a little bit better. They go down and across. So So I'll pull those off, get those pulled out. Once those are pulled out, that'll be pretty much, I think, all of the hydraulic lines, rubber lines off the rear end that need replaced. Then I went inside the cab a little bit ago and I pulled off the side panels and all the pieces so that you can see in behind the dash, because I'm going to need to, there you can see the dash, or the red piece that goes over top here. Do this without falling all the way down to the ground. But these lines that go into the steering, sure those are original, they just go down to there. It's going to be a real pain to get those off, but while I'm in here I'll do those 4 lines. Here you can see my new master cylinder in there, and then you guys get to climb around with me here. Obviously then there's 4 lines that come out of the front of the cab that correspond, and they go down to the steering cylinders, which are down into there, which are going to take those off and have Phil rebuild, and then replace these 2 big supply lines. This one loops down, runs along underneath the engine, and it goes all the way up to the back of the pump up front. That's going to be a big line to have redone, and then there's a huge one, supply line on the other side, that's going to be a real booger. To find fittings and line that big, I'm guessing it comes and ties into this red metal line. So while I was out here, I kind of spent a lot of time. This red metal line comes out, it goes up, comes through, goes up, makes a 90, and goes into the bottom of the tank. There's a big line that comes up and goes into the oil cooler there. But anyway, this metal line here, I got thinking about that, and I'm like, I don't remember seeing that line that's shaped like that would come down and go across and go into that big supply line. I don't remember seeing that anyplace in the parts that I got for the A4T without the engine in it. And sure enough, I went over and looked, and I don't have it. So stood here and I did a bunch of thinking about this, and I think for sure we will be matching up as we replace all these little hoses on here. This is my logistically thinking brain, is I'm going to go through all the metal lines that I got, which were all on a shelf, try to match them up to what I've got here, and whatever I'm missing, I'm going to have to get made or come up with somehow. But the right time to do that is when I have these off that I can use as a pattern, or you know, kind of match up and see what I'm missing. Because the worst time to figure that out, I think, is going to be after this is all the way back together and we got the engine in that other one. We're trying to hook stuff up. I'm like, well, where's this line? I think that will be bad. I also think at the same time I can redo, I think, all the steering lines that are there and inside the cab. I can have Phil make doubles of all those, because all those are going to be the same on both tractors. That way I've already got them made for the other tractor. Same with the hydraulic lines in the back and the other two. Basically all the hydraulic lines on this should be about the same, and I'm going to go over and check on that other tractor before I have him make them, but I'm just going to have him make doubles of everything. That way I've got everything made and I can just drop them in the other one. The only thing that's going to be different is this big rubber line here, because on the other one, it's going to have the oil pump with the hydraulic pump behind it. And so that line's going to be shorter. And what will be different then is, you know, I didn't see this line either in that. I'm going to have to look back through those metal lines that I got. But what'll be longer then is that piece of rubber, because it's going to set back. That line should set back a little bit further. So I'm going to have to, that's the beauty of having two of these going into that. Now they are slightly different, but a lot the same. So I should be able to take my time while we're doing this one and make doubles of certain things, figure out what we're missing on the other one, and get working on getting that stuff Because obviously, once we start on that other one, I want to roll. I mean, I want to be able to have, like, if I can have everything from here back on the tractor done on that other one, so that all we got to do is drop in the motor and hook everything up and put fluids in it and all of that. That is best case scenario for me. It's going to be, again, these lines, I'm looking at these lines. I don't have a lot of money on lines. But what are you going to do? I mean, we're at that point, like, you're just going to piece it together and not have everything be the way that it should be and have it break on you down the road. I mean, I'd rather have everything done and have it done right, so that if I end up selling one of these or both of these or either one at some point in time, I can refer back to a video and be like, I replaced everything on it. So, you know, whoever would buy it would know, like, oh, it's been taken care of. So anyway, that's just me thinking out loud, me out here, and I literally for like a half hour just stood and was looking at things and comparing things and checking things. And that's where I'm at right now. But then I was supposed to, like I said, have some plans. So okay, I'm going to stop on that. I got to get ready to go. And then those changed. So what I did do, because I've got to finish this thing. Like, I should stop doing anything else. I should stop even knowing that this thing exists until I get this thing done, because it's not going to take that much. It's just going to take a little bit of time. And then I can push it out of the way and have it running, have it out of the way. I did drop the motor back on here today, but of course in my parts stash, or all of my nuts and bolts and washers, I'm missing the size bolt that I need to bolt it down to the frame. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bolt the starter on and do a little bit more work on this today, just to try to wrap this thing up or get it a lot closer to being done. I don't, I still got a box of parts here and some other things. I need the correct muffler for this thing, and I have posted on every site on Facebook that I can think of: Gravely Tractors, Wheel Horse, Jacobson, you know, every place. Like, does anybody have one of these? And nobody does so far, or they're not coming off it if they've got one. I really would like to put original muffler back on this, but so far, no luck. But so as it is right now, I'm just going to go ahead and put this thing as much back together as I can, and much of the way, and get it closer, because it's just going to help having the motor back on here, because it was sitting on a table right in this area, and now I've got a little bit more space. So that's where I'm at today. Kind of disappointing. I'm not getting as much done this weekend as I wanted. I am going to get a pump to pump the diesel out of the tank. I talked to Oliver Phil this morning. I told him that, you know, he was asking if this is rounded corners, and I said that it is, which obviously if it was squared off, we just put a whole new bottom in it, which we're going to probably end up doing anyway. I'm going to have to really clean up and see if I got going around this rounded corner. If it's solid, then they can just maybe cut the bottom piece out, bottom out, and weld a new one in, and then I should be good to go. I don't know. That is not my specialty. That is out of my wheelhouse. If I showed you some of my welding, you'd be like, yeah, let somebody else weld for you. I can do basic stuff, but I can't do something like this. So the other thing I'll do is I'm going to sandblast the metal tray that it fits in and get paint on that. And I'm going to use inner tube or something underneath it to pad it when it goes back in the tray. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm going to work on the garden tractor a little more. Probably be staring over at the big girl, wanting to do stuff on this, but you know, it's I want to mess with the lights, I want to do all that, but the prudent thing to do would be to finish this project up so that it's out of the way and it's ready for next spring. I can debut it at a show or something, so that for all the work that I put into this thing, I need to finish it up. So I'm gonna go back to work on this, and I'll probably do one little more quick update on how much I get done on it today before I end this video. All right, so I did a little bit more work on this. Got the belt on around the pulleys, the electric clutch on, coil, got the top motor plate on, I got the flywheel cover on and the flywheel, or the cover for this side, routed the fuel line through there, got the starter on. I just need my bolts to mount the motor, and I boogered up the bolt that holds on the electric flywheel. I got to get another one of those and a couple other bolts. So it's coming back together. It's slow going because the problem with the projects are when you start, like if I would have tore this down, painted it, and then put it right back together, I'd remembered everything. Unfortunately, I didn't do that. I think I've been working on this at least a year. So it's on me. I gotta be better about that. So I'll continue to work on that this week, and when I get that further done, I will get back to working on pulling lines off. I was just thinking about it because my brain never stops. While I'm working on the lawn tractor, of priority is to get all of these lines off soon so that Phil can start working on those. And once he's got those, then I can work on either the wiring or I mean, there's other things I can be working on. So I will get him the lines, let him go to work, and then I can pick through and do things like get this cable freed up so that my draft works and my 3-point works, and just work my way through this thing and get my water hoses to go into the radiator fixed, get my heater rerouted. I can do all that. I mean, that's all stuff that can be done, but key is it's going to take him a little bit on all those hoses. So get those to him, help him out, which helps me out. I got to work on this too. I mean, this is another thing, hoses, fuel tank, because it's going to take him a little bit to fix the bottom of the tank. So that's where we're at. I'll quit talking about it. I would rather be showing what I'm doing, but it just didn't go as good as it could have this weekend. I got to get this thing back into good running shape because my man, Nick Ohio MM, I'm sure wants to come back and he wants to drive this thing around more, and I'll have it all ready for him in the spring, hopefully, and hopefully be working on the other one. And I'm sure he'll want to drive the 114 when it's done. I did get the 110 started today. It wouldn't start the last time he was here, and I don't know why it wouldn't start, but it started today. So it runs like a top. But yep, that's it for this video. It's Super Bowl day. We got a Super Bowl party to go to. Not that I really care a whole lot. And next weekend, or nights this week, and I'll try to pick away at all these projects a little bit more. Thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying this project and all my projects. And please like and subscribe. Give me a comment if you got something to say about what I'm doing. And we'll see you in the next video.